I decided to start reading about social media and healthcare. Good night. You could read for months on it. So I came across this blog. And you know how, like, on social media, you read these blogs and they're all kind of just anonymous, and well, I started like really reading this one blog like over and over and over again. And it was by this guy named Dunlop. So I thought, well, I guess when it comes to social media, I can just write strangers notes, right? Like, that's how it works. So I wrote him a note and I said, hey, my name's Christine and I read your blog, and I don't really even spend a lot of time reading blogs, but would you be interested in coming to talk to our Marcom group? And so we started talking, and the more we started talking, the more I became interested. So with no further delay, Dan Dunlop.
Thanks, Christine. When Christine and I were talking about this presentation, she said, what about 7 blessings and 7 sins of social media? And I thought that was a pretty good idea. So I'm going to talk about the 7 blessings and 7 sins as we wind down toward the end of this. The blessings of social media, and this serves as a recap, it really helps with your search engine marketing, something we haven't even talked about today, actually. Your rankings on search engines will improve dramatically if you get involved in social media and you do it right. People will be able to find you and learn more about your services and learn more about your physicians, learn more about your brand by being involved. Certainly it's a great way, as I've told you, to activate your current brand advocates, engaging your grateful patients, communicating without media filters. I'm sure some of you have that situation too, where you'd like to be able to tell your story without having the media put their spin on it. Crisis communication expediter, without a doubt, and it's impactful. Quick publicity for those people who really need it in your organization, and you know who they are. And I'll tell you, one of the negatives is, I didn't put it on the negative list, but one of the negatives is the more you do, the more people are going to want it. So you have to manage expectations, but one surgeon's going to see that you put someone else on YouTube and he's going to be like, why aren't I on YouTube? And it is low cost. I mean, for the most part, you can do this without spending a lot of money. 7 sins: failing to have a strategy before you start. Don't just do it. Do it right. Do it strategically. Have a plan. Figure out what you're going to do and why you want to do it. How is it going to help your organization achieve its business objectives? So it's part of your overall marketing strategy. Fear of this loss of control, the sudden transparency. Oh my gosh, you know, everybody's going to know what we're doing. You've got to get over that. Cowardice, panic in the C-suite, people afraid. Fear usually comes from unknowing, you know, from ignorance. I mean, just not being familiar with it. So let's make people familiar with social media. It requires vigilance and responsiveness, and that's tough because I know all of you already have full-time jobs. So the most common thing I hear from groups are, you know, things like, well, how am I going to do all this? You know, I don't have time. Well, I will tell you, you can do it pretty quickly. I mean, it doesn't have to be an hour out of your day. Sloth. Social media requires time commitment. It does. Free speech isn't always pretty. You know, and I made the point earlier, you know, there are negative people out there and they are going to say ugly things, and you do have to deal with that. But, you know, that comes with the territory. And really wanting to do too much too fast. You don't have to start by having a Facebook group, you know, being on Twitter, having a blog, and all these different things at once. Again, do it strategically. I think a Facebook group is a great, non-threatening way to start bringing in your brand advocates. And then go from there. Whatever you do professionally online should be driven by strategy, just like anything else you do. So you should have a marketing plan for social media. And it doesn't have to be a novel. You know, it could be 2 pages of, here are the objectives we're trying to accomplish. And here's how we're going to do it with social media. So make it strategic. Too many people are jumping into social media just to do it or because they think that's where they need to be. And those are not the reasons to be there. We'll talk more about being blocked in your facilities in a bit because it's endemic to our industry. But that doesn't mean we can't overcome it. I think if you go to whoever's in charge with a social media marketing plan saying, here's what we're trying to accomplish. And here are the tools that are going to help us accomplish these objectives. And this is why we need to get to these sites. You're going to have a pretty strong case. The final point related to all this, and I think this is the most compelling, you're marketers. You're responsible for your organization's reputation and brand, right? Part of your job is managing that brand image. How can you do it if you can't see what people are saying about your organization online? I don't know how you can argue that.